Good morning, boys and girls. It's Monday morning again. Sunday came and went, and now it's Monday. So, good morning. Good morning. I hope you like your morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you like your day. The sun is shining. It's beautiful outside. Ian just told me, Mom, look how green everything is. Everything is so green out there. So I hope you go outside and enjoy it. Well, we're going to read a couple of more books. Two very, very, very different books today. And we're going to talk about setting one more day. Now, you remember that setting is the place where a book takes place, where the story takes place. So, in some books, it's really easy to figure out where the setting is. In other books, a little harder. We've talked about the characters. We've talked about the setting. So let's see if we can read one of our books for this week. Are you ready? Do you have a pair of glasses? I have a pair of glasses. Do you have a book? Ooh. Oh no, there's a pink snake in there. Shut the book. Open it again. Ooh. Oh, there's a purple dinosaur. Shut that book. These are my glasses. This is my book. I put on my glasses and open up my book. Now I read, 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 and I look, look, look. I put down my glasses and close up the book. These are my glasses. This is my book. I put on my glasses and open up my book. Now I read, 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 and I look, look, look. I put down my glasses and close up the book. These are my glasses. This is my book. I put on my glasses and open up my book. Now I read, 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 and I look, look, look. I put down my glasses and close up the book. Well, boys and girls, the first book I'm going to read is one of our favorites. Now, it's not the monster at the end of the book because I don't have that one at home. That one's at school. But it's another monster at the end of the book. Mrs. Freeman has to get ready to read this because I always use my voices, right? When I read this, it's so much fun. You might look at this book and you might go, I know where that book takes place. That book takes place at, what does it say up here? Sesame Street. That book takes place on Sesame Street because there's Grover and there's Elmo and they live on Sesame Street. But we're going to read the book and see if we can figure out where the setting is and see if it really is taking place on Sesame Street. So, the name of this book is Another Monster at the End of This Book, starring lovable furry old Grover and equally lovable furry little Elmo. Another Monster at the End of This Book, written by John Stone. Another monster at the end of this book? Oh no! Another monster? We will not go any further in this book. But Elmo loves monsters, Mr. Grover. Turn the page, please. Should we turn the page? Let's do it. Let's start reading. Oh no! I am not going to the end of this book if there is a monster there. Monsters are not to be trifled with. I am going to stay right here on the first page. Okay, Mr. Grover. Elmo will go see the monster all by himself. Turn the page, please. Will you please stop turning pages? Every time you turn another page, we get closer to the monster at the end of this book. Elmo, come with me. We are going home now. Elmo? Elmo? Elmo, where are understand that at the end of this book, there is a monster there. It could be a nice furry monster like you or me or Cookie or Harry, but it could also be a very big, scary, hungry monster with sharp teeth and claws and an attitude. Therefore, I am putting these hundreds of paper clips here just to remind you that we are not going to the end of this book. Yes, Mr. Grover. Turn the page, please. Oh, Elmo is not listening to Grover. I think Elmo is curious, don't you? All right. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I have now taken all of your alphabet blocks and built a huge castle right here. No one can turn this page now. Turn. Do you think we can turn the page? Are you strong enough? Come up here and help me. Pull, pull, pull. Oh, enough is enough. I, Grover, am now gluing this page down so you cannot turn it. And if you cannot turn the page, we will not get closer to the monster at the end of this book. Do it! Do it! Do it, says Elmo. See the words? Those are some of our sight words. Do it. You ready? Can we do it? Help me pull the glue. Help me pull. Elmo, please, please, forget about seeing the monster at the end of this book and come back with me to the beginning of the book. Please, pretty please. But little Elmo wants to see the monster. Turn the page. Oh, this will stop you from turning pages. I, Grover, have put up a thick steel wall so no one can ever turn the page. What do you say to that, little Elmo? Elmo? Where are you, Elmo? Elmo's on the next page! Elmo went to the next page. Oh, Grover was building the wall. Oh my goodness. Let's turn the page and see. All right. We will go see the monster. But just one little peek. When I say turn the page, you jump in from the back of the book, and I will jump in from the front of the book. And we will see the monster, and then we will run like bunny rabbits. Listen carefully. You tiptoe around to the back of the book, and I, Grover, will stay here. Do you see the thought bubble? Elmo's thinking about what Grover said. Elmo's going to go to the back of the book, and Grover's going to stay on this page, and then they're going to jump out and scare the monster. Are you at the back of the book, little Elmo? Yes, Mr. Grover! Then here we go. 1, 2, get ready to turn the page, and then get ready to turn the page, and then run like a bunny rabbit. 3, turn the page! Ah! What happened? What happened? I never thought that the monster at the end of the book would be you, little Elmo. No, Mr. Grover. You were the monster at the end of this book. I saw you. 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 We are practicing some of our sight words this week in some of the books we're reading. And so this book practices the sight word you. Y-O-U. There are lots of fun sight words in this book we can practice. Turn the page. That's on every page almost. Where are you going? Almost going back 2 pages to see the monster again. Ready? Let's go back 2 pages. 1, 2. I love this book, don't you? Well, so back to our original question. What was the setting of this book? Where did this book take place? Inside the book. You're right. The setting of this book is the book. Elmo and Grover are talking about being inside the book. Don't turn the page. Turn the page. Stay on this page. Go to another page. It's the book. That's the setting. Pretty fun, huh? Well, you might remember, boys and girls, that when we left on Friday, I had lost one of our elephants because my desk was a mess. My desk is still a mess, but that's okay. I did find our elephant. So I found our elephant and I am ready to finish our 5 little elephants. Remember, we were up to 4 elephants in a bathtub. Knock, knock, splish, splash. Come on in. Remember? We had counted 1, 2, 3, 4. And we figured out that 4 elephants could fit in the bathtub. But it takes 5 to make the bathtub splash in and fall in. So you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4 elephants in a bathtub going for a swim. Knock, knock, splash, splash. Come on in. Here he comes, the 5th elephant. We found him. 5 elephants in a bathtub going for a swim. You ready? Knock, knock, splash, splash. They all fall in. Oh no! I even knocked down my felt board. They crashed so hard. Well, boys and girls, elephant felt board is one of my favorites. You remember me telling you that. But we're going to say bye-bye to the elephant felt board as we come up with something new for this week. Something new. New starts with a letter N. What's the letter? Now, new, no. We're going to read a book that has no in it this week as one of our sight words. What is that letter? You're right. It's the N. It's the N. N. Now, this is called a wheelbarrow walk. It takes 2 people. One person holds the other person's feet, and the other person walks on their hands. If you have a brother or a sister at home, you can try it if you're careful. You can ask your mom and dad to help you. It's kind of fun. But let's make an N. If you look at this N up here carefully, you will see it has 2 numbers, a 1 and a 2. That tells you that the first thing we should do is take our pencil and go down. And then the second thing we do is go back to the top and go down, up. So the uppercase N is down, then lift up your pencil, go back up to the top of the line, and go down, up. Uppercase N. Now lowercase n is a line, a hump, over. Go down, back up, and over to the bottom. See? It only has a number 1 because you do it all at the same time with never lifting up your pencil. You put your pencil on the paper and you go down, up, and over. and you don't ever lift that pencil up. Well, the letter N is for new because we have a new focus for our circle times this week. We have been talking about setting and just reading some fun books and trying to figure out where the book takes place. But this week, we're going to be reading a whole bunch of different books again, and they all have to do with sight words, just like you could see the sight words in Elmo and Grover's book. Look, let's see. Real quick, let's go back to the very first page. Oh, no. Look, there's one of our sight words. N, O, no. Let's turn to the next page. Oh, look at this big sight word. Not. I am not. Those are some of the sight words that we learned to read. So we're going to start working on some of the easy words that we want to learn how to read this week. And I'm going to help you with those words. But before we do that, why don't we sing a song? You want to sing a song this morning? I pulled out one of our favorite songs, and I thought I would get this one out because the last time you were with me, we made a shaky egg, and I thought we would use those shaky eggs again. I know a chicken, and she laid an egg. I know a chicken, and she laid an egg. Oh my goodness, it's a shaky egg. You can get up and dance around, shake your body, shake them fast, shake them fast. If you don't have an egg, you can just shake your body and pretend. Shake them fast. Yes. I know a chicken, and she laid an egg. I know a chicken, and she laid an egg. Oh my goodness, it's a shaky egg. You know how it goes. Shake and slow. You know how it goes. Yes. Shake them fast. Oh, I know a chicken. I know a chicken. And she laid an egg. I know a chicken. And she laid an egg. Oh my goodness. It's a shaky egg. All right, get up. Turn around. Spin around. Spin around. Spin around. Spin around. Spin around. Up and down. Jump, 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 jump. Don't fall down. Shake those eggs. Jump, 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 jump. Oh, I know. That was poor planning on my part for recording. And she laid an egg. I know a chicken. And she laid an egg. Oh my goodness, it's a shake. Egg. Shake it. Woo! It's a shaky egg. I love the shaky egg song. You know what? I thought we would do shaky eggs because we had made those shakers and I wanted you to be able to use them again. If you don't have a shaky egg, don't worry about it. It's okay. You can just pretend when we sing those songs. Now, you're going to have to excuse me because do you see Mrs. Fryman's eyes? See how red and scratchy they are? Allergies are back. Oh, springtime allergies are back. So Miss Fryman needs to take a second break. Do you have allergies? Do you know about allergies? They make us itchy, don't they? Wow. I'm going to read another book today for you called Elizabeti's Stone. This is Elizabeti's Stone. It's a picture book, and we're going to try to figure out in this one more book what the setting is. And you're going to help me. So as we read this book, you be sure to pay attention to the pictures and see if you can figure out where this story takes place. Elizabeti Stone. Here's the cover page. Elizabeti had a new baby brother named Obadiah. Elizabeti watched Mama take care of him, and she wanted to care for her own baby. Do you know someone in our class has a new baby? Sunjay has a new baby sister. Her name is Ellen. So we have a new baby in our preschool family. So Elizabeti wanted to take care of her own baby. She didn't have a doll, so she went outside and picked up a stick. She tried to hug it, but it poked her, and so she dropped it on the ground. Then Elizabeti picked up a rock. It was just the right size to hold, and it didn't poke Elizabeti when she hugged it. She kissed the rock and named it Eva. When baby Obadiah had a bath, he splashed and got Mama wet. When Eva had a bath, she behaved very nicely and only splashed a little. Mama fed Obadiah, and he gave a loud burp. Elizabeti fed Eva, but she was too polite to burp. Mama changed the cloth wrapped around Obadiah's bottom, and it was very messy. Elizabeti was very relieved to find that Eva's bottom was still clean. When Mama did her chores, she tied Obadiah onto her back with a bright cloth called a kanga. When Elizabeti did her chores, she also tied Eva onto her back with a kanga. Mama had to help a little. Look, see her kanga and her baby Eva? And look at Obadiah on Mummy's back. Elizabeti went to visit her friend Rahali. Rahali laughed when she saw that Elizabeti had a rock for a doll. But Rahali didn't have a doll either. So when Elizabeti left, Rahali found her own rock and named it Malusi. When Elizabeti got home, it was time for her to get water from the village well. She took Eva out of the kanga and laid her on the ground near some other rocks so she wouldn't be lonely. Then Elizabeti wrapped the kanga into a small bundle, put it on top of her head, and placed the water jug on top of the kanga. This was how she always carried water and other heavy things. She's doing her chores. That's right, I must have a dog returning the page. Elizabeth soon returned with water, and it took it to her sister Pendo inside the cooking hut, where all the family's meals were made. Then Elizabeti ran outside to get Eva, but Eva was gone. Elizabeti looked all around, but she couldn't find Eva. Mama found a new rock and gave it to Elizabeti. Elizabeti shook her head when she saw it. That rock was just a rock. Pendo also brought Elizabeti a rock, but it wasn't Eva either. Elizabeti was very sad and sat quietly until it was time to help Pendo in the cooking hut. The family had rice for dinner every night, and it was Elizabeti's job to put the pot of rice on the fire pit, which was made of 3 large stones. Elizabeti sadly filled the pot with water and set it on the stones to boil, but one of the stones wasn't a stone at all. It was Eva. Elizabeti called for Mama, and together they moved the pot of water and rolled Eva away from the fire. Although Eva was a bit dirty, she hadn't been hurt. Pendo ran outside to get a new stone for the fire pit, which is just how poor Eva had become lost. Eva now sat quietly while Elizabeti cleaned her off and hugged her. At bedtime, Mama sang a lullaby and rocked Obadiah in her arms until he fell asleep. Elizabeti sang a lullaby too, but she fell asleep before Eva did. Mama covered Eva and Elizabeti with a blanket. She smiled and thought that one day Elizabeti would make a fine mother. Eva thought so too. The end. So, did you figure out where this book took place? It took place in a village somewhere, right? A village where people use kangas to carry their babies, where people live in huts like this, where they go for walks to get water with jugs on their head, where there are no dolls and toys, but the children play with rocks and sticks all the time. Hmm. I figured that this book took place somewhere in a village in Africa. And then I started to look at the book closer. And in the front of the book are some special words. It says, for Tim, B, and Tangelo, Asante Sana to Bobby in the village of Malula. Well, I looked up where the village of Malula was on my computer. I Googled it, and it says it's in Tanzania, Africa. So I think that this author spent some time visiting a village in Africa. And when she got home, she wrote a book about her story, about her time there. So this book takes place in a little village in a faraway continent of Africa, in the country of Tanzania. We live in the country of the United States of America. Our continent is North America. It includes Canada and the USA and Mexico. Elizabeth's story takes place in Africa. It's a great big continent on the other side of the world. And some of our friends at school are from Africa. Yeah, some of you are from Africa too. I love this story. It makes me happy. It's fun to pretend. And Elizabeth was pretending with her rock. When you go outside today, what can you pretend with rocks? Can you go on a rock hunt? Can you make a rock collection? Maybe you can bring some rocks inside and paint them and then hide them around your yard to find again. One of the things that happened for me was that Miss Toe, Eliana's mommy, painted some rocks for our playground, and it was a beautiful gift. Well, today it's shout out time. I'm sorry that you had to wait all the way to the end of the video, But today is shout out time. Look, Ian just brought me this rock. This is a rock we got in Haiti. I think this is a rock that we got in Haiti when we traveled to Haiti. It's just a painted rock, but isn't it so cool? Well, it's shout out time, and I had forgotten about shout outs today. So I'm going to do my shout outs, and today's shout outs are to Miss Sarah's class. So, Miss Sarah's class, have you got your ears on? I hope you stayed to the very end of the video today. I know it's kind of long, but if you stayed to the end, guess what? It's time for shout outs. And I'm going to see if I can remember everyone's name in Miss Sarah's class because I don't have Miss Sarah's class roster up. So let's see. Good morning, Audrey. Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning, Omar. Good morning, Gannon. Oh, look, Miss Fryman's finding it. Good morning, Ellis. Good morning, Lily. Good morning, Elliot and Jameson. Good morning, Kendrick. Good morning, Asta. Hi, Emmett. Hi, Andrew. I think I remembered everyone. Good morning, guys. I miss you so much, and I can't wait to see you again. I hope you're having fun at home with your mommy and daddy, and I hope you go outside today and have a great Monday. I'll see you next time. Bye, boys and girls.